All right. Hello, everyone. I will tell you what that music was really soon. But in the meantime, I just want to pay homage to my wall. If you can see it, I'm in love. Absolutely 100% in love. So, anyways, welcome back to our live series. And if you are listening to this on the podcast, I'm so excited you're here. My name is Sydney Skellinger, and I am the host of the River Cruise Masterclass. And I am here to give you all the tips and tricks how to sail the rivers and maybe even some small boats in the future because I am just so excited about some of these options. I am not going to lie. So today I kind of wanted to take you through an adventure that I had worked on actually for a Toastmasters speech. I am working with some clients to do the Rhine River. And so our series is going to be on the Rhine right now. Today, we are going to be doing 3 days in Amsterdam. I'm going to start out this by saying that I recommend if you were going to be doing a river cruise that you either do a pre and or post to really be able to experience the destination more, because most of the time the river cruises will start in Amsterdam, but they don't actually spend any time there or in Basel or things like that. So we wanted to add a little bit of extra time there so that you can get some of the experiences. So I kind of wanted to throw that out there as an option for you, and how I would do 3 days in Amsterdam if I was doing a Rhine River cruise as a pre or a post. I will say in general, I recommend starting the Rhine River in Switzerland and going down to Amsterdam, just because you're going with the current of the river, which means that you don't feel the engines as much. Just another one of those fun facts. So for those of you that have the visual aid, I definitely want to show this for you. So I'm going to be presenting it out. And we are going to have a great time. Okay, so it's 3 days in Amsterdam, right? I want to kind of highlight that you can do more time. There are some additional pre and post that you can do. But basically, it's a city of elegant canals, bold history, tulips during the right season, and either you're starting your cruise on the Rhine or you're ending your cruise on the Rhine. Amsterdam is a perfect stop, and here is how I would spend 3 days. So first of all, I want to talk about what hotel I recommend. So when I was in Amsterdam, we stayed at the Hotel Estera. And I will start by saying I am most likely 100% going to be butchering a lot of Dutch words here. I barely know English language, so when I tell you I'm going to butcher these words, I want to let you know that is 100% going to happen here. So Hotel Estera is this absolutely beautiful hotel I found. It's a gem. And it is a boutique hotel, canal side, with unique decor, centrally located and easy to access for most major attractions. When I went, my friend, the people I went with were always like, oh yeah, it's only 900 more feet. But everything is close, relative, right? In Europe, you are doing a lot of walking so that you can eat all the food that you want. I loved this hotel because, as you can see, if you are looking at the photos, it is so unique, so feminine, so just artsy and creative, and it really just makes you feel like you're in the destination. Each room is uniquely decorated. So every room in the hotel has a different theme. I was in the red flower room. My friends were in the blue room. And they have a sitting area that has a bunch of chandeliers. They have this beautiful bar where they have some not actual alcoholic drinks, but some, fruity drinks and things like that you can have. They do have a bar, light snacks, nothing too crazy. So don't expect a full meal there. But when I tell you, it is an absolutely beautiful hotel, and I definitely recommend that you check it out if you are there. It is moderately priced too. It is not an absolutely crazy hotel or hotel cost. So when we're talking about 3 days in Amsterdam, these are just some high level things, and it's not going to be every single thing that you can see. So I want to make sure that you're just aware that we're not going to be saying, here's anything you can possibly see, but here are some highlights. So the Rijksmuseum is going to be exploring the Dutch art masters. So this is a huge museum that you can see. It's right in the central of town, and you can see famous paintings like Rembrandt's Night Watch or Vermeer's Milk Maiden. So any of those Dutch artists that you're going to want to see, it is definitely something I recommend. Now, for some of us that aren't super museumy, I would probably maybe take a half a day here. If you are someone that really enjoys like getting, learning the history of a certain art piece, feeling the vibe of that sort of decade, you could probably spend a day to a day and a half in this museum. I definitely recommend the skip the line pass because it is very busy of a museum. Another way that I have fun exploring out was doing a canal cruise. So there's over 165 canals that span 47 miles, which is one of the best ways to see the city. I recommend it as a great like starting point. So kind of think of it as like a hop on, hop off, but you start and stop at the same location. Originally these canals were built in the 1600s for water management and transportation. And now I'm like, well, they're good for a good little booze cruise. Not really, but it is so much fun because when you do these, you get drinks, you have snacks. They had homemade stroopwafels, and I ate too many. Another place that I recommend is the Cafe Sandoval, and that music that you were listening to at the beginning of this is actually the owner's father or grandfather. So she created this restaurant, which was so cute. It is plastered on the inside with the Sandoval music, where he went, where he played records that, albums that went gold or platinum. And it was such good food as well. I the owner works it, and you see her in there. So there was a group of 10 of us, and I was like, what do you recommend? And she's like, my ribs are the best ribs you'll ever taste. And she was right. I still think about them. I have honestly looked up flights to go back to Amsterdam to go to the Café Sandoval for their ribs. Not something you think about when you think of Dutch food, but if you have a good thing, you have a good thing. So why argue with it? It's kind of how I take the approach. Now, some of the other things you can do is the Anne Frank House, which is a really important part of history and something that you go see and just experience and kind of see what they had to do and where they had to go. I definitely recommend doing the guide that you actually have a 30-minute presentation as well. I am someone who really enjoyed history, and there are parts of Anne Frank's story that I forgot, and it was really just a great way to level set before getting into the museum. Now, it is really difficult to get tickets for the Anne Frank House. You can only get it from the Anne Frank website, so don't try to go through Viator, through tours. You might be able to, but it's basically, you still have to book it. If you want to book it 6 weeks before and pay basically a service fee for someone to stay up late and book those flights, those tickets for you, that is what you're basically paying for when you do that. But if you were trying to get something past that 6 weeks, it is very rare that you are going to find it. Now on that, you book tickets 6 weeks in advance. And that means you have to log in at 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's where I'm at, or whatever time it is, so that it equals that time frame in Amsterdam. I can't remember if it's noon or 10 a.m. 6 weeks from the day that you want to go. And you have to do it, and within 10 minutes, 90% of them are sold out. So just be aware of that. And, that is something that, like, as a travel advisor, I provide that service to my clients. I'm the one that wakes up at 2 a.m. or stays awake until 2 a.m. to get that so that you guys don't have to worry about that and you can experience it. I can't, of course, guarantee exactly what time, which is why I always say we're going to get this and plan the day around it. But I make sure that I at least get you those tickets and so you can experience it. But that is definitely something that if you are going to Amsterdam, make sure you flag that for yourself so that you don't get yourself in trouble that way. Another fun thing that you can do is you can go to the Delft Museum. Now, it's the photo in the background right here, but it's basically that iconic blue and white ceramics. And you can learn about it, you can see them paint it, and and one of the things I wanted to highlight, hold on for 1 second. No, okay. Whew. This is a Delft house from KLM. So one of the things that you can do is if you fly business class with KLM, every year they bring out a couple more of these Delft houses, and they are numbered on the back. So you can buy them at most of the thrift stores in Amsterdam, but you can collect these. There is alcohol on the inside, and every single time you go on a trip, they will give you one as part of your business class experience because they are part of the Amsterdam, the Netherlands family. So this is something that you can do. It was one of the main reasons I flew business class with KLM because I wanted this little Dutch house. So I wear it proudly. I don't wear it. I show it proudly. It sits at my desk and it makes me so happy. Part of me wants to try the alcohol. The other part of me is also like, no, it'll waste the experience. But that is something that you can think about and something that I recommend to go visit that because it's a very interesting part of their history. Another thing that I did not know until I went to Amsterdam is that Heineken is Dutch. Go figure. When I think Heineken, I don't think Dutch, but it is. And they have a full experience that you can go explore in Amsterdam. So you can, have some beer samplings. You can learn about the history of it and do all of those other things. And they definitely recommend you do that. It is a unique experience. It's something fun. And in myself personally, I really enjoy doing a mix of history, culture, and like unique experiences when I go somewhere, which is why I'm kind of highlighting all of these different things like the Delft Museum, Anne Frank and Heineken. Honestly, those three things would be a perfect sort of experience for myself because it hits all of those things that I enjoy. Because I will sometimes get history, museum, church fatigue, and I like to do those things that are a little different to add on to it. Now with that, I also wanted to highlight some possible day trips. I am wearing my sweatshirt. You can't really see it, but it's from Kinderjack. And you can visit over 19 historic windmill sites and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I'm not gonna lie, I look really good in this photo. I love it. I don't know, my hair is doing what my hair does. So if you are not watching this video, you can check it out. It's on Facebook. It's on, YouTube, and there'll be some shorts on it, some little clips on it as well. It is a really interesting thing there. They have it where you can see how the windmills work. They still have some that are still working to this day, the historic way. It's really interesting. You can also go to Voldam, which is a fishing village, have some fresh seafood. It's about a 40-minute bus. And then you also have Marken, which is a picturesque island where you can admire some wooden houses, and you can take a ferry there. There are a bunch of other like day trips. There's you can head to a concentration camp. You can even head to Belgium, but that's not something I'd recommend in a 3-day trip, which is kind of what we're doing here, is just highlighting those sort of things. Now, in terms of that foodie high life, because when in, the Netherlands, eat as the Netherlands do, as they say. So some of the things that you might hear is those iconic Dutch food is a bitterballen, which are fried meatballs and a mustard dip. They have all different kinds. If you go to the food hall, they have an actual like 6 bitterballen thing where it has all the different types and dips, and it's really fun to try that with some friends. Stroopwafels, if you do stay at Hotel Sarah, right down, if you take a left straight down, there's an amazing place. I went there every morning for breakfast. I know what you're thinking. Stroopwafel for breakfast, it has waffle in the name, and I will die on that sword. It's delicious, it's open, and there was no line at 7 o'clock in the morning. I know, it shocks me as well. And then you have the purifets, which are mini pancakes and powdered sugar. So right along that same thing. And then you have herring, which is that traditional snack. If you want to do it, if you want to eat it like the locals, you eat it by the tail. I'm not that adventurous, but I always do try something at least once. So as it says, experience the local markets like the Albert Cups Market or the Food Hall. I do recommend if you go to the Food Hall, it is inside of a huge building. Go straight out the back, and there's a local farmers market as well. And so you can also walk through there, try some food that way. Because the Food Hall, when I went, it does feel a little commercial. It feels a little tourist. So I will say if you walk out and go into the food market right behind the Food Hall, I got a more authentic experience, but I did both. So I was kind of able to experience the touristy stuff as well as the actual more of a local thing as well. Now, I'd be remiss in talking about Amsterdam without talking about the tulip season. So tulip season is actually going on right now. It is typically late March to mid-May, and millions of tulip blossoms are bloom across all of the Netherlands, with Amsterdam being its central hub. So the key attractions, of course, are the Keukenhof Gardens, renowned for setting the plays, the Tulip Festival, which showcases the tulips throughout the day. Now, I will tell you, there are tulips everywhere. Like, they fully commit. They're all over Amsterdam. And then when you go to the Keukenhof, it is so overwhelming. So I worked with a local partner in Amsterdam, and I was able to get a private tour of this place called the Tulip Experience. It is about 10 minutes from the Keukenhof, and it is a local family who actually farms tulips for a living. And so they have their own farm, they have their own manufacturing, and once they're finished manufacturing, shipping out all the tulips, they use their warehouse that they actually do all this in, and then do a start from finish how tulips were discovered when you are actually like growing them from bulb to death and all of that stuff. And it is so interesting. We had the niece of the owner give us this tour, and she talked to us about where tulips came from, Turkey, Turkmenistan. And when it originally came to the Netherlands, it came over just because it was a rare delicacy in the Turkey, Turkmenistan area. They fell into some financial hardships, shipped them over, and someone bought them and thought it was an onion because of how the bulbs look, right? So they went in, they cut it open, they tried it, and were like, ugh, that's disgusting, right? Because tulips don't have the seeds don't have the best taste. Not that that's something that you actually want to try. So he threw it into his trash out in the back, and you just leave it. And then it started to bloom in March, April, and so that was how it was discovered in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And then the name actually comes from a tulip turban, which I thought was so interesting. And that just touches the surface on everything that we learned while we were there. I learned more there, and I got so much more of an experience that it made the Keukenhof Gardens even better. So, and if you're extra like me, I hired a private photographer to come to the tulip experience, and we were able to do a private photo shoot for the group that I had taken there. I have a photo here as an example. and it was so much fun. It was it was supposed to rain that day, and everyone's like, it is going to rain, you're going to be pouring, you're not going to be able to enjoy the tulips. And I said, no ma'am, I am manifesting that it will not rain until we are done with the tulips. So it looked cloudy, it looked gloomy. Was I cold in this photo? Absolutely. But as my mother would say, beauty is pain. It started raining as our time was up in the Kuchenhof Gardens. After doing all of this, we did the tour, we did the photo shoot, we went to the gardens, we had lunch, and it started raining as soon as we got back onto the bus to head back to Amsterdam. And I call that manifestation. You know, I manifested that for the rest of the group, and I want to tell you that I want to tell them that they're welcome, right? But it's nice to do that, even if you're not going to do a photographer, you get to experience the tulips more at the tulip experience, because it doesn't have as many people as it does at the Kuchenhof. You can also later on in the season, we went pretty early in the season, you can reach out to private farmers of tulip fields and do photo shoots that way if you're working with a local photographer. Just as fun facts. Now, getting around. Right? So when you go to Amsterdam, I will tell you the best way to explore central Amsterdam is to walk. It's a very walkable city. You can cycle like a local if you are feeling wild and ambitious. They are fast. I can't keep up with them, but I am slow. It's just what it is. You can also use public transit, trams, buses, metro. They have an app you can definitely look into. But I will say that walking is probably going to be your best mode of transportation unless you are leaving the city. So get those steps in. Now, essential tips, just so that you kind of think about it ahead of time. Book your accommodations early and your Anne Frank tickets when you can. Think of those things that you absolutely want to do and make sure that you're planning your itinerary around it. You don't have to do everything, but some things will be sold out if you wait until the last minute. Pack smart. Amsterdam, we went at beginning of May or beginning of April, literally like April 3rd or 4th of last year. And, it rained, it snowed, and it was sunny all in one day. It only did each of those things for like 30 minutes, but you just have to be flexible with it. Amsterdam does get a lot of rain, and it is just, I would pack for all types of weather and make sure that you're layering up depending on what time you're going. Make sure to be aware of the bikes, look both ways. Another thing that's on here that's an essential tip that I didn't mention before is a coffee house or a cafe. If it has 2 E's in its name, you can get your drinks and coffees there. If it is a coffee shop and there's like no E in the word shop, that is where you can buy cannabis and cannabis-like supplies. So be aware of that. And if you want to learn a couple of phrases in Dutch, it is appreciated. As I told you, I have butchered all of them. And so I don't know if they appreciate that, but you can do danke, which is like thank you. But basically what I want you to do is to enjoy your time in Amsterdam. And as I say, enjoy the gezelligheid, which is Dutch coziness and good vibes. Now, if you have listened to this presentation and you were like, oh my God, I need to go to Amsterdam like yesterday, don't hesitate to reach out. Either I have basically this presentation on my website. If you want to get it, I'll send you if you check the notes here, you can get that link. Also, I would love to help you plan your trip. It can be on a river cruise. It can be by itself. You could do Amsterdam. I know one of my next trips, I'm going to start and end in Amsterdam, and I'm going to do Belgium. And I am so excited because I love chocolate, and Belgium is known for it. Like Tony's chocolates are my absolute favorite. Anyways, so there's tons of different ways to experience it. You can do it. You can also add Germany, Cologne. You can do a bunch of different ways to make this part of a trip. And I think that you can have an amazing time, and you will have an amazing time. So don't hesitate. If you do have any questions, or if you want to reach out about booking a trip, my email address is Sydney@thepoodlebookedit.com. So as you can see here, Winston, the poodle, is enjoying his nap. Why I am the actual workhorse behind the Poodle Booked It. He is just the face, but he is much cuter than me, so I'll let him have it. Anyways, I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day, and thank you so much for listening. And I well, some music of our